Greece's underwater tax scandal, when the government used satellites to catch your pool. In Greece, the government had to use space satellites to find your swimming pool. Welcome to Weird Geo Economy, the channel where we dive deep into the strangest ways people twist, dodge, and redefine economic rules. Today we're heading to post-crisis Greece, a country once on the brink of economic collapse, where hiding wealth became an art form. Because when the tax office asked people about their luxury assets, thousands of Greeks swore they didn't even own a pool. But the satellite photos said otherwise. We're in Athens' northern suburbs, places like Ekali, Kifisia, and Glyfada, where affluent Greeks live behind high walls and tall hedges, often in villas with manicured lawns, and, it turns out, lots of hidden swimming pools. After the 2008 financial crisis, Greece was drowning in debt. The government was desperate to raise revenue and prove to international lenders, particularly the EU and IMF, that it was getting serious about tax evasion. So it started looking at signs of undeclared wealth, and swimming pools became target number one. Why? Because a private pool isn't just for lounging. It's a luxury asset subject to property taxes, maintenance fees, and in theory it should appear in your official tax filings. But when the Greek tax authority checked their records, they found 324 declared private swimming pools in Athens' rich suburbs. So they launched an investigation using satellite imagery from Google Earth and discovered the truth. There were over 16,000 pools. This is Greece's aerial tax evasion scandal, where the state used space-age surveillance tools to outsmart old-school tax cheats and found that wealthier citizens were systematically lying about luxury assets, especially pools, to avoid taxation. At the time, Greek citizens were required to declare major property assets, including swimming pools, large balconies or terraces, home theatres, tennis courts, second homes and yachts. The idea was to impose austerity-era luxury taxes on these symbols of wealth. But what actually happened? Thousands lied on their property declarations. Many covered their pools with camouflage nets, green tarps, or painted them blue to match satellite background. Some even built retractable roofs to shield pools from aerial view. The deception was so widespread that it became a national embarrassment, used by the EU to illustrate how deep-rooted Greece's tax compliance problems were. Because trust in Greek institutions was low, and tax evasion was seen not as criminal, but as survival or rebellion. For decades, Greece struggled with a weak tax collection system, lenient penalties for fraud, a massive cash economy, and cultural tolerance of cheating the state. In a country where freelancers underreport income, where cash transactions dominate, and where even doctors were known to demand bribes under the table, hiding a pool didn't feel like a crime. It felt normal. The wealthy saw no incentive to declare assets that would only bring more taxes, especially during a time when austerity was squeezing the middle class, slashing public wages, and gutting pensions. So people lied, covered, and denied until the government literally zoomed out, looked down from space, and called their bluff. This economic plot twist involved the Greek Tax Authority, SDOE, which pioneered the use of Google Earth and aerial surveillance for tax audits. Satellite analysts who overlaid residential maps with pool heat maps, identifying anomalies between declarations and actual visual evidence. Affluent homeowners, many of whom claimed their pools were inflatable, ornamental, or in disrepair to avoid fines. EU officials and auditors who cited the scandal as proof that Greece's rich weren't paying their share, fueling anger in bailout negotiations. And ordinary Greeks who watched the scandal unfold and resented the double standards, especially when they were being asked to sacrifice wages, jobs, and retirement benefits. In response to the scandal, some Greek homeowners filled in their pools with dirt or covered them with plywood, only to dig them back up months later when inspections stopped. The tax authority briefly floated the idea of using thermal imaging to detect warm pool water at night, until public outrage shut the plan down. A cottage industry of pool concealment services popped up, offering everything from camouflage tarps to collapsible roofs, all marketed as privacy protection. In Greece, the government couldn't trust declarations, so it had to use satellites. What it found was a nation of quiet tax rebels, lounging by undeclared pools while the state begged for EU bailouts. It's not just a story of fraud, it's a story of economic mistrust, cultural normalization of cheating, and a government so desperate it turned to the skies. Subscribe to Weird Geo Economy for more strange cases where luxury hides in plain sight, until the satellite zooms in.